Chair, this project has 1,800 units. The whole project has 1,800 units. The units that are actually meant to be transferred to the county government of Mombasa are 180 units.
We've asked time and time again for the developer to give us a list of the people he sold the units to. Nobody is aware of who is owning the units.
What is he talking to the housing department? And yet, there is no land, there is no houses for these people. So what is he talking about? What is he telling them?
The PS was there, the CS was there in that meeting. After very, very heated deliberations with them, and the developer as well confirmed and accepted that he is more than willing for the others as well to go under the affordable housing scheme. The president pronounced himself on this matter. And maybe what you could help me as well and help the tenants is by calling in the PS and the CS for housing.
Just a moment. There was an agreement that we pave way for the land so that the development we get the affordable housing. We were given the first right to own. No former resident is owning the land, the units.
Chair, I just wanted to get clarification. Would you like me to be able to read the responses verbatim or just explain them?
You see, that's why I was talking about the issue of budget of time.
That's why I seek your guidance,
so
whether you would want to.
I am still going to request that you read them verbatim.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chair, with your permission, the letter we sent to one of the questions we asked the governor is whether the national government, through the Affordable Housing Fund, has facilitated and supported the former tenants of Buckiston to purchase houses through the tenant purchase scheme as per your agreement with the Principal Secretary, State Department of Housing and Urban Planning on 16th May 2024.
Thank you. Chair, I think the letter was 16 May 2024. The agreement was actually a bit earlier. And maybe let me read it verbatim. Chair, the County Government of Mombasa formally requested the support of the national government through both the Cabinet Secretary and the Principal Secretary for Housing and Urban Development to extend the tenant purchase scheme to county-initiated houses projects, which included Buxton Point. However, despite constant follow-up and written correspondence, and copies of which we have annexed, we are yet to receive a conclusive response, and we do remain committed to partnering with the national government to actualize affordable housing solution for our residents and urge expedited engagement on this matter. Chair, as a rejoinder, when we were doing the groundbreaking, and the Senator of Mombasa can be able to bear me witness on this, because of the problem that we are currently facing in, the only solution was to be able to engage the national housing. And we managed to get it in such a way that even the president pronounced himself on this matter. We have written to the State Department. We've attached copies of the letters that we have written. We've asked them to be able to get it done. Do they have the info as to who the beneficiaries are? Yes, they do have the info of who the beneficiaries are. However, to the best of our knowledge, they're yet to be able to confirm anything on our part. Because as potential beneficiaries, not potential, but upcoming beneficiaries of this project, that we were going to have about 180 units belonging to the county, they would have approached us as well and said that, okay, this is where you need to sign on the dotted line for these 180 units. So, no, we further, and I'm hoping that the committee can probably call in the State Department as well and ask them what the issue is. We have done our part. We've initiated, we've called, we've written letters. Thank you, Chair.
Committee members?
Yes, Chair, I'm happy the governor is saying that he has contacted the Department of Housing, but my question would be, how many houses did he allocate for the department to start process of financing?
Governor?
Would you like me to take a few questions or one at a time?
No, one at a time.
One at a time, okay.
This is one of those issues that you don't want to crowd. You want to be very specific.
Okay. Chair, this project has 1,800 units. The whole project has 1,800 units. The units that are actually meant to be transferred to the county government of Mombasa are 180 units. What we did inform, because this was a discussion that we had, they said we cannot start treating the units that belong to the county government and the units that belong to the developer. It's the same place, it's the same building. You cannot say that one neighbor is going to be given in a different way and another neighbor is going to be given in a different way. So the conversation was, we, together with the developer, ours are 180 units. Out of our 180 units, there still is going to be a need for an extra almost 300 plus units that were meant to come from the developer. So the agreement was for all the 500. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the developer was more than willing to actually offlet all the units through the affordable housing program. And to re-emphasize, the wordings that the senator has used is, what have we allocated? You allocate what you have. We don't have these units in hand yet. It is important for me to be able to clarify, because what we have indicated and we have stated, the way this contract was signed was the county government was going to be able to benefit from those particular units after completion of phase 2, which phase 2 is currently ongoing. And in the process of phase 2 currently ongoing, we can only be able to state that this is what our commitment is there in writing. We've written to the State Department explaining that these units that belong to us, we want them. Forget about just these ones alone. We've even indicated all our other housing units. The county government of Mombasa has no business to say that you are going to be now continuously being a landlord and a tenant mechanism. What we need to be is a service provider. We need to be able to be implementers and facilitators of quality, affordable and social aspect of that housing to be able to be met. But with all due respect, even unless every single time we say that, instead of coming up with smart ways where we're going to be dealing with entities like the affordable housing, and the county government says, okay, this is our money. We know that the people of Mombasa are now paying at a rate at which they can be able to afford, at a rate at which it is actually right. We become intermediaries. We offer these units to our people so that the tenants of Buxton, the tenants of Mzizima, and any other tenant for that matter can be able to access this. It is now our role to now provide the services. The services will include ensuring that the sewer system is working, ensuring that garbage is collected. How are we going to be able to ensure that we are financed through...
Point of order, Chair. Chair, I know the governor who is seated here is highly experienced legislator. And the question I have asked is very, very simple question. The committee has, in our discussion, we've had a lengthy discussion And then we proposed priority should be given to Buxton Estate former tenants. And now the governor is telling us about other things. Let him answer. My question was very simple. What is he talking to the housing department? And yet there is no land, there is no houses for these people. So what is he talking about? What is he telling them?
Chair.
That is the question.
Senator Miraj.
Chair, I want to speak not as a senator right now. I want to address this committee as a former tenant. And then a tenant who agreed to the demolishing and the redevelopment of our Buxton estate. And the gospel then was that we were going to own these houses on rental. We rent as we own. The little rent that we were going to pay was eventually going to turn for us to be owners of the affordable housing. But what transpired is actually the opposite. We are not aware as former tenants of any public-private partnership. Our county government of Mombasa gave land to an investor, a developer. Then the investor, after taking our public land, sold us houses even before he built them, off plan. So, the land is for free. The houses are being built by residents of Mombasa. The first phase on that land is social housing and not affordable housing that we paved way for. So apart from the governor and the county government of Mombasa being allocated the 180 units that was a recommendation by this committee, which I was not a member by then, there was an agreement that we pave way for the land so that the development we get the affordable housing. We were given the first right to own. No former resident is owning the land, the units. We've asked time and time again for the developer to give us a list of the people he sold the units to. Nobody is aware of who is owning the units. And by the way, the biggest, the elephant in the house is, why were we told to pave way for affordable housing project, later for the developer to go ahead and develop social houses? We were told that we were to rent to own. Now we are being introduced to high mortgages as tenant purchase schemes. We were poor people living there. We were paying as low as 2,000 monthly. Where are we going to get 49,000 for us to purchase the units? Where? Most of the units that we were on, we were living in, were hereditary. Our parents who gave us those units, most of them died. People were surviving in that estate because it was affordable for them to do so. As for my case, it was my mother, who is a former county government worker. She has retired. But with the minimal retirement benefits she got, and because I'm here because I'm a senator, I helped her purchase that unit. But what of the rest of the former tenants? These are the questions I would love the governor to delve into. The long con that is going on at Buxton. In the revenue, in the last Finance Act of Mombasa County, there is no any revenue allocation for Mombasa County. There is no, the developer has not allocated units to Mombasa County. So why did we even, in the first place, give up our land to a person who did not have money to develop that land?
Governor?
Thank you. Chair, I've been asked questions in two ways. One is futuristic, the second one is past. Allow me to be able to try and balance myself in answering both. The question that Senator Chute asked is, what we have done, what are we allocating for this issue of the affordable? We've already written letters. We've actually committed ourselves and written letters to the...
Governor, I don't want to cut you. Senator Chute is asking a very simple question. You had an agreement with the State Department for Housing.
Yes.
You have that agreement?
No, let me explain to you now. Chair, this is quite important, and I hope that me trying to be able to explain...
Because, just a moment, you know, it's a very simple issue. Or rather, a very simple, I want thought process. We have, these are not amorphous people. They're existing people. And there's a number to them. I've got this X number of people who did not get housing in phase 1, right? And therefore, you are, the agreement that is referred to in this letter must surely have said that this number of people will get their housing through this X, Y, and the ministry. So what I want to limit you to is to that agreement. You agreed with them that these people are going to get their houses. Where are you with that? Are there 4 people who have gotten them? Are there 100 people who have gotten them?
Chair,
is there a plan to give those people houses?
Chair, our intent, and we have even written it in, we've put it in writing. Our intent is not even 4, 5, or 6. Our intent is actually all the units that we own, 180 for this particular one estate. We've even now gone further and said any other development that we have, to be able to accommodate any other development that we have, the units that will belong to the county government, all of them to go to the affordable housing. Have we been able to get something in writing from the State Department? No. Have we sat down with them? Not once, not twice, to actually, probably the issue that Senator Miraj raised, that this was not affordable. There's someone who actually sat down, had to convince the State Department and had to convince the President for the President to pronounce himself that as a matter of fact, this particular housing will actually be put into affordable. You know, we either make arrangements and start stating why, how, you know, but truth be told, I cannot take brick and plaster and put back those houses to where they were when Miraj was playing there as a child. But I can try and fix the problem. And one of the ways that I try to fix the problem is even before this conversation of affordable housing came in, even before this conversation came in, even before affordable housing was actually being implemented and had actually been passed by this very honorable house, I tried as the governor, and we even talked to private stakeholders. And I appreciated and respected when the tenants came and they actually said, no, these figures cannot work. And I withdrew that private entity. For me to be able to actually convince and sit down and explain that this is more than anything else. And the reason why I had to explain is that when this particular housing was the groundbreaking was done, that element, that legal element of what what is the square meter for this to actually be called affordable had not been into place. But I still managed to convince them Did they, I mean, if you ask me, Chair, and Senator Miraj needs to actually confirm this because she was there. The PS was there, the CS was there in that meeting. After very, very heated deliberations with them, and the developer as well confirmed and accepted that he is more than willing for the others as well to go under the affordable housing scheme. The president pronounced himself on this matter. And maybe what you could help me as well and help the tenants is by calling in the PS and the CS for housing.
Just a moment.